Have you ever wondered why trust can be built so slowly, yet shattered in an instant? Why it feels like the most fragile, yet the most essential thread in all our relationships? And why it's so difficult to earn, but so heartbreakingly easy to lose? Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of trust, understanding what makes it so powerful, so fragile, and why rebuilding it can sometimes feel impossible. By the end of this conversation, you'll have a clear understanding of the emotional and psychological forces behind trust, how it shapes our relationships, and what we can do to protect it. Let's begin. What exactly is trust? At its core, trust is a belief, a deep-seated confidence in someone's reliability, honesty, and character. It's an emotional contract we enter into, often without realizing how much of ourselves we're putting on the line. In any relationship, whether romantic, family, friendship, or even professional, trust isn't just important, it's foundational. Without it, everything else struggles to survive. There's no real emotional safety, no space for vulnerability, no ground for connection. When we trust someone, we expose our softer sides, our hopes, our fears, our needs. We allow ourselves to believe that someone will act in ways that protect us, not harm us. And that level of vulnerability is what makes real intimacy possible. Without trust, love feels hollow. Friendship feels unsafe. Even collaboration feels like a gamble. Trust, in many ways, is the invisible glue that holds human connection together. Let's now look at how that trust is built and why it takes so much time. Building trust is a slow and delicate process. It doesn't happen overnight because it's not about words. It's about experiences repeated over time. Psychologically, trust is built through consistent positive interactions. Each time someone shows up for us, keeps a promise, or acts with kindness, they're making deposits into our trust bank account. Every act of honesty, reliability, and emotional presence adds to that invisible balance. And just like a bank account, the deposits must outnumber the withdrawals. One broken promise, one lie, one moment of betrayal can wipe out months or even years of trust deposits in a heartbeat. Attachment theory also plays a crucial role. For people with secure attachment styles, trust comes more easily. They've learned from an early age that others can be depended upon. But for those with anxious or avoidant styles, trust is harder. They may fear abandonment or fear dependence itself. Their internal wiring makes building and maintaining trust a far more delicate and complicated journey. In short, building trust is about repeated vulnerability, met with repeated care. But what happens when that trust is broken? Let's look at why trust is so easy to lose and why the fallout can be so emotionally intense. While trust is painstakingly slow to build, it's frighteningly easy to destroy. Why? Because trust is tied directly to our deepest emotional needs. Our need for safety, respect, and connection. When someone betrays our trust, whether by lying, cheating, breaking promises, or even just letting us down in a critical moment, it doesn't just hurt. It shakes our very sense of emotional reality. Psychologically, betrayal triggers primal emotional pain. Our brain treats betrayal much like a physical injury. We experience shock, anger, grief, and often a deep sense of loss that's hard to put into words. And here's the kicker. Disappointment tends to linger, even longer than anger. Anger can flare and burn out quickly. But disappointment, the realization that someone failed to be who we thought they were, stays with us. It changes how safe we feel with them. Sometimes, it changes how safe we feel with anyone. Once trust is broken, a relationship shifts from a place of security into a landscape of uncertainty. But is it possible to rebuild trust once it's been shattered? Let's talk about how that process works and what it really takes. So, is rebuilding trust even possible? The answer is yes, but it's not easy, and it doesn't happen with just words. First, there must be genuine acknowledgement. The one who broke the trust must not only apologize, but understand and fully own the damage caused. Without real accountability, healing can't even begin. Next comes consistent, sustained effort. Trust is rebuilt not through grand gestures, but through small, honest actions, repeated over time. It's about doing the right thing, especially when no one is watching. Transparency becomes crucial. The hurt party must feel heard. Their fears, their insecurities, their anger, these need to be treated with care and patience. Trust can't grow again without emotional safety. And here's something most people overlook. Rebuilding trust doesn't always mean restoring it to what it once was. Sometimes, the relationship becomes something new, different, maybe even stronger. Other times, it never quite feels the same again. Healing happens, but the scars remain. And that's okay, because healing is still healing. So what can we do to protect trust before it ever gets to this point? Let's take a look at how trust can be nurtured and safeguarded. So how do we protect the trust we've built before it ever reaches the point of breaking? Just like a beautiful garden needs a fence to shield it from damage, our relationships need healthy boundaries to preserve trust and respect. Boundaries aren't walls meant to keep others out. They're agreements, spoken and shared, that create emotional safety. When both people feel safe, respected, and understood, trust flourishes. Clear boundaries reduce misunderstandings and stop small hurts from growing into larger betrayals. First, protect your trust with emotional boundaries. This means knowing where you end and the other person begins. It means being able to say no when needed and hearing no without feeling rejected. Boundaries give us space to be honest and whole. Second, prioritize honest, clear communication. Assumptions destroy trust faster than almost anything else. We think we know what someone means, or needs, or wants, and we don't ask. But when we guess instead of listen, trust begins to erode. Open conversations build strong bridges. Talk about your needs, your hopes, your concerns. Transparency isn't oversharing, it's offering clarity. Third, practice self-reflection. Trust is not something we demand. It's something we earn day after day with how we show up. Ask yourself, am I being the kind of person who can be trusted? Am I living the values I expect from others? The more honest we are with ourselves, the more honest we can be with those we love. And that honesty becomes the foundation trust stands on. Of course, even with all this care, trust can still be broken. So what happens then? Can it ever be rebuilt? And if it can, how do we truly heal? Let's close with one final reflection. In the end, trust is both fragile and incredibly powerful. It's the foundation of our emotional connections, holding relationships together. When it's strong, it creates a safe space for love, friendship, and growth. When it's broken, healing takes time, and sometimes the scars never fully disappear. If you've ever experienced betrayal, you understand how deep those wounds can go. But healing is possible, with honesty, with time, with patience. Thank you for watching. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might need this message, and subscribe to Fragments of Meaning for more deep dives into psychology, human behavior, and emotional wisdom. Also, let us know in the comments. Have you ever had to rebuild trust? What helped or hindered your healing process? We'd love to hear your story.